the bat, the VOD and the silver screen. Kevin and Tom and Joe know all there is to know, from masterpieces to deep fried tacos. And if the movie sucks, you might hear them say, there's no telling where the guys will take you. Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, cause we already warned you. Better watch out, it's gonna ruin the plot. Real spoilers. Real spoilers. Real spoilers.
Broadcasting from the lush but not lavish studios located in the basement of the O'Keefe Institute for Advanced Film Snarkitude, this is Real Spoilers, episode 839.
Perfect.
That's right.
I think 5,
I don't know.
but maybe 6,
Maybe 7.
maybe 17.
Oh.
Oh, see what I did there? Huh? This is why I do. This is why I sit in this chair. It's right here.
That's exactly right.
This is why. This is why I get the orange.
The orange microphone.
I can't believe
Kevin
somebody said-
actively takes his off.
He should.
Yeah.
He should. Yeah, he's not clip out.
That's right.
He doesn't get to use the orange microphone. It's only for clip out
Only for
people.
clip out
You
people.
need yellow. You need yellow.
We do need yellow.
Spoilers.
Yeah.
Well, these were like $15 each
Ah,
or something.
never mind.
So
Never
Yeah,
mind.
we've built
had
up
to have
that.
them shipped from China, so now they're probably $35.
Yeah, I was gonna say, we can't ship anything now.
Yeah, so I guess let's go around the table and everyone can introduce themselves.
I'm Matt.
I'm Joe.
And this is Tom. Before we dig in, shameless plugs. Don't forget we're available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeart, TuneIn, wherever you find a podcast, you can find us. While you are there, be sure and follow us so you never miss an episode. Maybe leave us a review. Super helpful.
We have 2.
We have two
Two.
new reviews
Yes,
coming right at you. You don't even know what I'm referencing when I say
Zoo.
that.
Yeah.
The what?
The Zoo Crew? Zoobly do.
New Zoo review.
There it is. You've said it enough on the show that I should know.
But
what
that's
that
the
is.
only
Yeah.
reason you know it.
That is, yeah.
That show is nightmare fuel if you ever look
Is
it
that
up.
right?
Oh my god. You should look it up when you're done
I
reading these
will.
reviews.
You talking about Zoobly Zoo?
That's right.
No,
That's where my
That's
head
what I
went.
remember that show.
When I was a kid, there was a show called New Zoo Review, and it was like
Were they Muppets?
they
Or
were
puppets?
like in animal costumes, but they were
That's
like
always a bad side.
but they were like they were like from like a really
Like Super Pup?
dilapidated theme park.
Oh.
Yeah,
Like HR Puffin stuff.
yeah, but even lesser than.
Oh, shit.
This was like a poor man's HR Puffin stuff.
Okay.
Zoobly Zoo was people in animal costumes, but it was more like makeup and
That's what
a nose stuck on them, and they
Yes.
were creepy too.
Yeah.
Equally creepy.
Yeah.
So the first one, You Know I Love You, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Here we go.
Yeah.
3-star review.
Okay.
Good
alright.
listen, but stay on track. This is
that's
from
not
Beer Dude 89.
We're 12 years in.
I
here,
know.
dude. If we were gonna stay on track, it would have happened.
By now. I'll start by saying that I do really enjoy this show. The guys have great chemistry
Stop
together.
then.
Yeah, there you go. 5 stars.
Done.
Stop
We're
typing.
done.
Why go further?
He does. The guys have great chemistry together, and it's usually a fun listen. However, the constant references to being woke or whatever it is so annoying. I'm on their side with everything, but by the 8th reference of an episode, it's exhausting. Beer Dude, this is not the episode for you, brother.
Oh.
Like, not this one.
Yeah, I don't.
Maybe skip this episode.
I don't know how you don't talk about those things.
Also, I have a hard time listening when Matt Basler is on.
Hey.
He takes way too long to make a point, which I don't think is true.
Look,
Oh my God, he's gonna take. Here's the next 40 minutes of the show.
I went back because someone talked about my pizza,
The pizza, which
metaphor.
is a perfect metaphor.
I went back. I said, and I go, maybe I did get to spinning my wheels a bit.
Well, you had lost your van. It had been a whole thing.
But I
We're in emotional turmoil.
Yeah.
Yeah,
right.
I still think that the idea that
You were right.
lots of mediocre things do not make a good thing was a good point. And Beer Dude, I will
Dude.
work on being more concise.
There we go.
The end.
Again, I tend to agree with his takes, but the wind-up just to say he thought something was boring is endless. I will say...
Well, then let's just say, did you guys like this movie?
Yeah, we
and
did.
get out of here.
All right, we're done. And then
We
there's
went from
another
60
one.
minutes to suck to 60 seconds.
That's
to
right.
suck.
That's right. And then... All right, this actually came through on the Real Spoilers Facebook page.
We have one of those.
We do. We have that. Well, we've got 2, but
We got a page and a group.
that's right. This is from Chris Margaret. I think I'm saying that right.
Chris, that sounds right.
Yes, thank you. KRIS. I can't screw that one up. Okay, so I wanted to start by saying that I found Real Spoilers when Kevin was a guest on Unspooled. I work alone outdoors, so podcasts keep me going for 6 to 8 hours a day. And when I heard there was a 12-year back catalog, I was pumped. Fast forward to a few months, I'm almost up to date, skipping a few films here and there so that I had no interest in watching or even listening to.
Oh, if only we could be that lucky.
Brother. I have to say this is probably one of my favorite podcasts. The guys give great, genuine insight that I had not considered and fresh takes on films that I had not seen and not liked. Then watched again with new eyes. With every episode, there's a strange underlying tension that these guys are friends but secretly might despise each other.
I didn't know it was a secret.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a
That's the
secret.
cute part.
Yeah. Being from the UK, I laugh to myself at the pronunciation of some names and words, i.e. Daniel. Wait, is Daniel Craig not say his name like that?
According to this guy, but
Oh,
I've
weird.
never heard
Okay.
anyone say it any other way. Like, it's not like, you know.
I'm not going to argue with Christ on how to pronounce anything.
It does not rhyme with egg. Oh,
Daniel Craig?
I mean, Chris, if
Craig?
you're still listening, please send like an audio clip of you
Yeah.
saying his
Right,
name.
or give us the word it
I had
does
no-
rhyme
yeah.
with.
Yeah.
Or
Like,
they just Craig instead of Cret? Whatever.
I have no idea. And whenever they're discussing horror, it sounds like they're talking about prostitutes.
we
Oh.
are. We have been.
The whole time.
We've never seen a horror movie.
Yeah, that's right.
We've only seen horror movies.
That's it. Horror movies.
Yes.
Yeah. So it's our Patreon.
Yeah.
I
Well,
find
we
it-
know what you call cigarettes, Chris, so
Yeah.
you're canceled. Over
Yeah,
there.
Don't come over here.
Over there in the uck.
The uck. I find it odd that Joe has a wrestling bell, but Tom doesn't have an ex-wife or the monkey sound, as he mentioned those more than anything else.
I agree. I don't know why I've been short shrifted. That's how they say it in the uck.
Yeah, right.
We say shrifted.
Shrifted.
They say shrifted.
Keep up the chicken noise. Amazing work. 10 out of 10, 5 stars.
well, thank
Well,
you.
thank you, Chris. Those were great.
Yes.
Yeah, maybe not the other one, but I'll take
You know,
it.
I'll still take a 3-star because, like, they're thinking about it.
They are.
Right?
They're
like,
putting
it's
some
not
thought
just,
into it.
there was something I didn't like, 1 star.
Yes.
Right? They're just
We
like,
have those.
there are things I enjoy and there are things that I'm not so sure about.
Yeah.
If you listen long enough, eventually you'll come around on them.
That's right.
That's how that tends
That's
to
right.
work.
Yeah, Beer Dude, maybe don't
Yeah.
listen to this episode. 'Cause
Yeah.
This is going to be...
I'm not for everyone. You know?
Oh, no, I just
No,
meant
just
the
'cause it's like,
content of the movie.
This movie's,
They should all listen to you.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm for you.
You don't like woke conversations.
Yeah, this
movies.
is
There's
not-
no way to not.
It's impossible.
For or against, there's no way to not bring it up.
Correct.
So,
Correct.
okay, finishing shameless plugs. Don't forget we have the aforementioned Facebook page that I just learned about, facebook.com/real spoilers. We also have a group. It's called the League of Show Sharers. We are hoping you will share an episode. People who were kind enough to share an episode this week include Brendan McGuckin, Travis Tewitt, Richard Krotzer, Tammy Lynn Powers Betts, Michael Tonkovic, Tom Dowdy, Chris Magic Man, Ralph Tribble, Julianne Jordan, Gabriel Lugo, Aaron Kyleman, Taylor Ward, Heather Sachs. Special shout out to Heather Sachs because every week she's a double show sharer.
She is.
She shares on Facebook and Twitter.
Correct.
So I just
Oh,
wanted to acknowledge
that's
that.
fair. That's
all.
fair. Heather
That's all.
Sachs is fantastic.
Yeah.
She has been, I think she's been with us since day one.
I don't know about since day one, but for a
Pretty
long
close.
time.
Pretty close, yeah.
She's no librarian.
She's no librarian, Cynthia. Yeah, that's true.
So, but she's wonderful. Colby Mack, Dissect That Film, Spoiler Piece Theater, Cindy Womack, Geek to Me Radio, Ryan Terry, Ronnie Castle, In Session Film, Mike and Oscar, Nostalgia Cast, and Edit Photo Gamer. So thank you very much for helping out. We certainly appreciate that. It does help us. And we have a Patreon, patreon.com/real spoilers, where for $5 a month you get all sorts of bonus content, and we like you extra. And of course, you can watch all of these over on YouTube, where if you think the bad reviews we get on Apple are mean,
You should see the ones we get on
you
YouTube.
read the YouTube.
Yeah.
So if you're on the
Yeah.
YouTube, you can say something mean in the comments because I don't.
Yeah, as
So-
the kids say, smash that subscribe button.
Yeah,
I
or
guess.
something.
Yeah.
I don't care. Yeah. So anyway, there's all that. Let's dig in to Mickey 17.
I love a good
Movie.
yes.
That's a hot take.
It's a hot take.
That is a hot take.
I always appreciate when somebody goes like a high concept sci-fi. I think for a long time, something was deemed sci-fi, and I was kind of like, man, you are stretching the boundaries of what sci-fi is at this
Like,
point.
Yeah, where it's like sci-fi is like, what if my phone had infinite storage.
Or
well, I don't know that that's really sci-fi.
it's not.
I mean,
it's
we
called the
can't.
cloud. Like I don't know
Yeah,
what
like,
you're talking
but that's okay.
But I think for a long time, sci-fi consisted of aliens, like not the movie Aliens, but like aliens in general.
Lowercase a.
Yes, and so like I always appreciate it when they step out of that world. Right? I think there was something.
You know that there are aliens in this movie.
I know.
Okay,
but
just
like
making sure.
But they weren't like
Hey,
the main.
who's the real alien?
Yeah,
You know?
That's-
touche.
Um,
Mind blown.
I think of like Virus or Independence Day, like those. But when they actually get into like science stuff,
Like a Blade Runner, perhaps.
Blade Runner is look, hot take, boring,
I'm right there with you.
visually stunning.
I've watched that movie every 10 years. I go back and
Maybe I was wrong.
and I was like, maybe I'm wrong. And I watch it again, and I'm just like,
Oh, I wasn't.
I'm kind of bored.
I just saw it for the first time very recently.
Which one of the 9 versions?
Yeah, I was gonna ask.
I don't remember. I did research. Did a lot of research.
Yeah.
Like, okay, but if I don't want the narration, and I do want this scene. But I'm with you. I thought it was okay. Look, it's beautiful,
Especially
Oh my God,
for the
it's
time frame in which it was
is
made.
incredible looking.
And I think the real genius of that, to my knowledge, best of my recollection, it's the first time a sci-fi movie had a world. You know how I complain about when they make movies set like 50 years in the past?
Yeah.
And you see the cars, and once I say it, you can't unsee it.
Yep.
Yes.
All the cars look brand new.
Yep.
Right? Because they go to car collector clubs.
There is an Arnold Schwarzenegger future movie, maybe Sixth Day. I don't
That's
remember. But
yeah.
it was right after PT Cruisers, maybe. Came
Okay.
out,
Okay.
And they have like a PT Cruiser with like mismatched panels, and I was like, "That's awesome. This is a good movie now."
Oh.
And it wasn't.
Yeah.
But
Also, I will tell you that's an impressive callback because that has clones in it.
oh yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
There you
It might not be that movie, but and it might not be a PT Cruiser.
But
the idea
normally when you see a future movie, everything, because it's futuristic, looks
Yeah.
brand new, and it's like, well, somebody bought their spaceship 20 years ago.
Yeah, you said this. If you set this movie in 2030, somebody's got a 2015 car.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. And so like Blade Runner was the first movie I can think of where there was like old futuristic tech,
Yeah.
thing that would blow our mind, but to them has been around for 20 or 30 years
Right.
and looks it.
Yeah,
It's got a very lived-in look.
it does
That now people will try to replicate sometimes, but
poorly.
you didn't see prior. to
No,
that.
I think and that it's I think Blade. What is it? 2049.
2049
is a better movie.
I was still a little bored.
I
Well,
was into that
but
one.
it was also a great looking movie.
yeah.
I would also be interested in what I would think of Blade Runner if I hadn't played video games and watched
That's
sci-fi movies for
also
the last
all
fair.
the stuff inspired
Yeah,
by
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
It's like when somebody's never seen Godfather,
right.
and they're just like, "Well, that's a little on the nose." And I'm like, "No, they
Yeah.
invented."
Yeah, I
that.
was like, they created the nose.
they invented. that.
Yeah. So, Snowpiercer. When I was watching the Snowpiercer, like kept kind of coming up in my head. So
Movie or television show?
the movie. I've never seen. Is the show any good?
It ran for 4 seasons, but I don't know
Okay.
if that means anything.
I thought that movie was great.
the movie was
I
great.
like the movie.
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah, I thought the movie was great.
I've liked everything. What's I don't want to say his name wrong. Bong, Joon.
Mhm.
Who?
I don't know. I'm not gonna try to say it.
Director. Everything he's done, I've really liked.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen. I've
Yeah,
really
yeah.
liked.
So I think this one. I think this is a very weird movie.
Mhm.
I enjoyed how weird it was. I liked most of it.
Can I say what you're trying to say?
What?
You like the idea of this movie more than you like the movie.
I think the execution was off.
Because that's where I landed.
Yeah,
I like the idea of this movie.
Yeah,
And I'm just like, this should be working for me, and it's not.
I
like,
was in the same boat.
I didn't hate it,
Nope.
but I was just kind of like,
I thought it was good.
and like we get so few new things
That's kind of-
anymore.
yeah.
And so like I hate to be like, I want new things, and then I get a new thing, and I'm like, I don't like the new thing.
Right.
But like, and again, I didn't hate it, but I was just like, boy, I really thought this was gonna be better.
You know, I thought the same thing. And is this so? He hasn't done anything since Parasite, right? This is his first one
I
back.
think so.
That sounds right.
And Parasite's pretty incredible. Like it's a
Love
pretty
it.
pretty
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
movie. So yeah, I think that's exact. I enjoyed it, But yeah, it kind of like fell flat a little
Right.
bit. Yeah, so this is set in the future. Look, again, if you don't want to hear about politics or
This is a very political movie.
Yeah.
There's no way around that.
it didn't start that way, and I was like, okay, this guy's a lovable. He's just a loser. He's not really
right.
lovable.
He kind of reminded me of Ratso Rizzo from Midnight
Yeah.
Cowboy.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I can see that.
Yeah. I mean, nobody blew a guy in a movie theater.
But he
That
was
we know.
walking here.
Yeah, that is true.
So
His voice
lots of
kind of
walking.
reminded me of Ratso Rizzo.
It is-
I love that he did a voice. That he did something.
Yeah. Robert Pattinson.
Brad Pattinson.
Yeah, Batman.
And it wasn't
the
like,
Batman.
The Batman.
'Cause-
Sorry. Yeah.
And I do like that Tom Hardy does it, but then sometimes Tom Hardy goes a little too far.
Yeah.
And I don't know what he's saying.
Well, I've said
but-
before, I think a lot of people, the American accent, I've noticed when British dudes try to do it, they drop their voice like 5 octaves to
He
try
must
to
have
get.
heard the pod, and he said, "I'm gonna."
I gotta turn it
I'm
up.
gonna go the other.
I'm gonna go the
direction.
other way. I'm gonna get it.
I found that sometimes when they're doing American accents, they learned it from American films.
Sure.
So they end up imitating
Yes.
like another American. Like this is kind of a deep cut, but the BBC version television show of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
Is that the first version?
Well, it started as a radio program,
Okay.
and then they've turned it into a television show.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful.
Yeah.
You can buy it on
It
Vudu
was a double cassette.
all the time for like put on sale for like $5. It's like
Nice.
6 episodes.
Okay.
Because it's BBC, so it's like 6 episodes. I think it ran for 18 years.
Yeah.
Over in the Uck.
Yeah.
That's
the
for you,
Uck.
Chris.
In the Uck.
But there's a scene where the two main characters, Ford and Arthur, are trying to sneak onto a ship, and there's security guards. They're shooting at them, and the security guards have American accents. But clearly, this is a British actor who learned his American accent by watching John Wayne movies.
Okay. Okay.
But then also, like, I don't think he's straight. So, like, he's
Oh.
got this weird John Wayne,
Cool.
but he's also
A little effeminate.
a little effeminate. And it's funny to watch. I don't know if he was trying to be funny, but like
Didn't they-
but you can tell he can only do an American accent if he's doing John Wayne.
Sure.
you know?
Didn't they remake that?
They turned it
Into
into
a movie?
a very mediocre movie with Sam Rockwell and Mos Def.
But isn't the main guy the Holmes, not Sherlock, not Holmes, Watson from the BBC Sherlock.
Bilbo, right?
Yeah.
Bilbo, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is.
Okay. That's
I'm
what I
blanking on his name too, but
thought.
yeah.
Okay, good. I'm not just-
Milton,
like him.
Martin Freeman.
Martin Freeman.
There we go.
Wow. We got there.
Yeah,
That was
got
impressive.
that. I'm like, no, Milton Freeman is an economist.
Milton?
Pretty sure it's not him.
Looking for his red stapler. So he's this lovable loser. He ends up owing money to a loan shark, and they take this job
And shove it.
and shovel it. That was a Demolition Man reference. Is what that
Oh.
was. Yeah.
Mine was
cool.
mine was a Johnny Paycheck reference.
Right. Cooler than mine.
I didn't do a reference because I'm trying to get to the point.
Sorry.
Please.
I apologize. So he takes this job on what we find out is this politician who lost an election has decided to go to this other planet and use this cloning technology and start a new civilization on this other planet.
But he's
That's
definitely not Donald Trump.
100%
And you can tell he's not Donald Trump because his wife touches him.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So when we get to this scene of all these people applying for these positions, everybody's wearing red hats. Everybody is clamoring to.
Yeah, it's not exactly subtle.
Not at all.
I don't even disagree with the message, but
No, it's-
like
it
not
is-
exactly
Although
subtle.
there are
Yeah.
interesting things that happen in the movie that could not have been
Foretold.
written. Yeah.
Yes.
They happened after the movie
sure,
was
sure,
written.
sure.
That is interesting. You
Yeah.
know, like
No, I will grant you that.
Life imitating art.
Yeah.
or it's all planned.
Or it's all planned. The Hollywood machine
It's a
is behind the whole
plandemic.
thing. A plandemic. So these cult members
Yeah.
are just like chomping at the bit to suckle at the teat of
And
their
everybody
lord.
wants off the planet.
Correct.
The planet's dying.
Is that
So
what it
that's
is? I thought they were just trying to get out of there because they didn't like.
Well,
They're trying to follow
Sucks.
him.
I think the planet.
the planet's. I don't know the planet's dying, but it seems like the economy is collapsing, and so and this is going to be guaranteed work, and
Right.
they want to get that. They
Okay,
view this as
okay.
like this is how we're going to keep the planet alive or keep ourselves alive, is to get onto the ship. And then we will have work, and
Repopulate
we will go
over
to this
here.
new planet, and we will be the new pioneers.
Right. So realizing they have no choice, it's Robert Pattinson and Stephen Yeun, who I think is great, fantastic as Mark Grayson on Invincible. When they cast him as Invincible, I was like, yeah, okay, let's do that. Now I'm thinking about that cast and how great it is, and how great that show is. So they
I can't. I can't.
did you read it
Mhm.
all the way through?
Mhm.
Okay. Did you like it?
No.
But you read 150 issues of it?
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a lot of pictures.
That's a lot of pictures. Great art. Ryan Otley and Corey Walker are fantastic.
You're right
Yes.
about that. Well, you're right. You're wrong about everything else.
So Robert Pattinson signs up to be an expendable. And what we find out an expendable is they
Sylvester Stallone.
Jason Statham, Jean-Claude Van Damme, Dolph Lundgren.
It's a 3D printed human.
Yes.
Yeah.
But they take your memories and they load it onto this brick, which I thought was hilarious. It's just like, look, it looks like a brick. And then every time you die, they just remake your body, implant it with the memories, and then you just start all over. Right.
Ta-da.
So immediately what they start doing is just testing on Robert Pattinson, where it's just like, what?
Doesn't matter.
Can you go on that outside and can you take your helmet off, like outside in
Yeah.
space? And he's like, all right. And, he's radiation poisoning and he's testing, he gets his hand cut off, which I thought was a very funny scene where the scientists are like, oh my God, actually, that's kind of cool. Like, and as they're getting closer and closer to this planet, they're testing all these different poisons and all this stuff on him, and they're creating all these different vaccines, which I think is funny that they're creating vaccines.
See, that's how you know they're not Republicans, because they want the vaccines.
That's right. Give me the vaccines.
See, we're not making fun of Republicans because
we would
these
never.
people want a vaccine.
They want the vaccine. I did think it was funny. The head scientist. Did you guys both watch Mindhunter?
No,
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Okay.
Yeah.
The head scientist, the big guy, is the guy that played Ed Kemper.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't figure out why I knew his voice, and I was
Yeah.
like, oh, he plays one of the scariest human beings
Oh, wow.
I've ever seen in my life.
Very funny.
He's very funny, and even as Ed Kemper, you're kind of like, oh, maybe he's not that bad.
Well, because the way he plays them is very likable.
Very likable.
Which, on some level, makes sense. Like, these people have to lure people in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody signs
And
up
Ed
for...
Kemper is a massive man.
Yeah.
He's a huge guy.
That's one of the problems I had with this movie is that Marshall, the head, the
Mark
guy,
Ruffalo?
Yeah. He's such an unlikable person that I can't imagine anybody.
There is a
It's
scene.
funny. I said that to my wife when we were leaving the movie. I'm like, it used to be in a movie, if you had someone that unlikable, I'd be like, nobody would ever follow that guy.
Correct.
And like, look, if you like Donald Trump, I'm not even trashing you. Like, you have to acknowledge half the world or half of America is repulsed by the dude. Like,
He's a garbage human.
That's just a statement of fact. Now, you can disagree with that,
Right.
But whatever he does, there are half the country cannot stand him.
Yes, that is correct.
49.5% of the country, apparently. So,
But there is a moment where he does, like, you could say that he's not an allegory for Trump, but then he does the Trump dance.
yeah,
And I was like, well, no denying it now.
the double jerking
Yes,
off dance.
yes,
yeah.
yeah.
I think it goes too far to be exact.
It does.
I
You know what I
agree.
mean? Like, I
Yeah,
would
no,
like
no.
it to be more just about the archetype.
Yeah.
That you could apply it to more people, which, you can still, but it's so specifically
very specific.
one person.
Yes.
Do you think when, like, if Real Spoilers was around in, like, 1938 and we were reviewing The Great Dictator, we'd be like, I don't know. I mean, it's a little on the nose with the Hitler stuff.
Well, I will also say, though, that I think art has had a weird because what if it wasn't so on the nose? What if he didn't do the dance, and then you say like, "Wow, this is a real kind of allegory for Trump," and then people would go, "No, it wasn't."
Oh,
Yeah.
sure,
You know what I
sure,
mean?
sure.
Right, yeah.
What are you talking about?
Art, I actually agree with, I 100% agree with you, is art used to be, even filmmaking, we'll just use that since we're reviewing a movie. There was a skill to not being on the nose,
Yeah.
right? Like it was a very, you could do things and you're kind of like, well, that kind of looks like this guy, but
There was just an article about this, I think in the New Yorker, maybe, or New York Magazine. Are they the same thing?
I don't know.
I'm not quite that woke yet. But about how literal movies have gotten.
Yes.
That like how
Yes.
like even like in Anora, which just won Best Picture.
It did.
And it's a Cinderella story, but then like they're like, I'm gonna get you the princess suite, and then she's like, Cinderella. And it's like, yeah, I get it.
no, we know
Yeah.
what your story you're
I
telling.
get it. Like,
Yeah.
like they really spoon feed you things in a way that they didn't used to.
Yeah, there's a there used to be a subtlety.
because they know you're playing on your phone while you're watching. that
Also,
movie.
you're not wrong. Like I do think that there used to be a subtlety to stuff that just doesn't exist anymore. Where like they have to tell you.
Well, in I don't know if you'd call it positive, because I read the article about that Netflix has sort of mandated that the shows and stuff say the plot more often,
Oh, that's so
because
weird,
people are
yeah.
on their phone. But like in this case, you're an artist, you have something you want to say, and if you know people will sort of willfully misinterpret,
Yeah.
if you don't go, it's like, well, I want to say what I want to say and I want to be understood.
Sure.
So maybe you do. Maybe you
Yeah.
just go a little further.
To me, like, am I expecting to have a conversation about the Predator? No. Like we could talk, be like, man, that was cool. Did you see like he painted himself in mud so he couldn't see him? Like that was dope. But then you take a movie like The Shining, where you're just like that is open to interpretation.
Right.
There's so many different things you could be like, well, maybe he was part of the hotel the entire time, or the hotel was always drawn. There's all kinds of different stuff that lend to a conversation. And I feel like a director like Kubrick is like, that's what I want you to do.
Right.
Right.
Like, I'm not going to tell you. What was The Thing is a great example. The end of that movie. Maybe they are. Maybe they aren't.
Right.
We don't. And Carpenter said, "Oh, I know. You pay me for it. I'll tell you." But
I did pay you for it.
Yeah, hey.
I bought a ticket. I got
Yeah,
it on
right,
Blu-ray.
right.
I paid you for it.
You think today they make Inception today? We get a
It topples.
post-credit scene where it falls.
I think if you make The Thing today,
did.
they'll tell you. That's true. Well, sort of. But if they remade that movie today, they're going to tell you at the end. They're going to leave you being like, oh,
I love film discussion where people are talking about The Thing, and they go, no, because this happened, so and it's like I like the ideas of the clues and the theories, but then when their conclusion is, so it's definitely this.
Yes,
it's like,
correct.
no, man, that's
that's the whole point of this conversation.
right.
And again, this Mark Ruffalo's, hamming it up. Like, loved being there, just owning everything. He's got these big old, fake
Veneer,
chompers,
yeah.
and he's got his hair slicked back. He's got a really bad tan, which again,
Yeah.
and he is like unhinged. And one of the things that I did like is they have a set amount of food on this ship, and they're feeding them basically like glop and protein. That's it. There's nothing special unless you're obviously in the presidential suite or the congressman suite. And they start outlawing stuff, and he's like, all right, so since we have to preserve these calories, no having sex. He's like, but when we get back to wherever we're going to Niflheim,
and people clap when
Yes,
he says no
yeah.
extracurricular activities. There's a few, there's
they're
people
like,
that are like, yeah, okay.
When we get to Niflheim, I'm not making that up. That's the name of the planet where they're going. We'll give you sex back. People are like, yeah, let's do that. And it's like, he's just taking away something and just giving it back later.
Right.
Like it's not like,
It's not. What is this? A tarot?
we'll just keep extending it. That's what we're going to put a buffer on it. While all of this is going on, we see Mickey has developed a relationship with a gal who is, I guess, like a cop.
Nasha.
Nasha. who's a cop on the ship, and they have this relationship. She's a little crazy, which I liked that she was a little crazy.
Police officer.
All right.
Oh
Easy.
no. ACAB includes Nasha.
It
No.
does. Sorry, buddy. So like I do like that she gets like kind of crazy if another person talks to Mickey.
Yeah.
She
reminded me. She reminded me of the girlfriend Steve Martin has in The Jerk before he meets Bernadette Peters.
Sure. That's a good one. That's a great movie.
That is a great movie.
Yeah. So while all this is going on, they're basically testing. He's dying all of these ridiculous ways.
Yeah.
And
maybe as many as 16 different times
at least.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think they showed this in the trailer as they're throwing one of the bodies into this furnace, and they're like, hey, he's not dead. He's like, it's okay, and just like tosses him into the
will
furnace.
Be soon.
Yeah, right.
I'm getting better.
What? So they go to this ice. They go to Hoth or Niflheim.
I know. I thought the same thing. Because even his
the whole gear.
Yeah, because it opens on Hoth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's laying there, and Stephen Yeun comes over the top of this like crevasse, and he's like, oh, like you're alive. And he drops down, and he's like, hey, your weapon's intact. That's great. You don't mind if I take this, right? And he was like, no. He's like, but I'm just taking this. He's like, the rope doesn't go down that far. He's like, it's fine. So we see these like alien creatures off in the distance, and we just assume that Mickey's going to get eaten. He does not. These creatures kind of like help him get out of this crevasse, and he can't figure out what's going on or why they helped him. He assumes that it's because he's been cloned so many times that he just tastes like and I was like, all right,
because they do say that he's basically made out of compost. They
take all the trash,
because it's all the organic trash, and somehow they recomposite it.
Gotta tell you,
to make him.
I'm glad they didn't tell us. They didn't explain it.
Yeah,
they're just like, here it is. Okay.
Yeah,
that's
like,
good enough for me.
This is just the premise. Roll with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's what I like about Looper.
Yeah.
Where Looper is, they're like, we have time travel, and if we try to tell you, it would explode your brain.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, makes sense.
If we could actually explain it, then we would know how to do it.
That's right.
And we
That's
don't.
Right. We don't.
So this is the fiction part of science fiction.
Looper is great.
That's
good.
Looper's fine.
I think we did that on the show.
Looper's
I think we covered that.
What? It's only all right?
It's fine.
You need to go.
Doesn't make sense when they're cutting the guy's parts off, but he's just noticing it because he wouldn't have had those parts his whole life. He would have the memories of not having the nose.
No, the parts would come off when they cut them. If he goes back into the past.
Well, look, there's always a paradox to time travel, right?
Yeah, it's Rian Johnson, right?
Yeah.
I like Rian Johnson.
I do too.
Except for
Star Wars
Best Star Wars movie.
Except for that Brothers movie. What was that?
The Heath Ledger Matt Damon one?
No. It was Adrian Brody, and was it Mark Ruffalo?
Oh.
And they're like con artist brothers.
Oh, you like the beginning though?
The beginning
yeah.
is amazing. It's like a little tiny short film. You can watch the first 5 minutes of that, and it's just an entirely encapsulated short film. Turn it off, you're good. After that, I didn't care for it too much. But
what's the one? Oh, the Brothers Grimm. That's what I was thinking of.
Yeah,
with those two guys. So he gets back to the ship, and everybody assumes that Mickey 17 had died. So he goes into his bed and he collapses, and there's Mickey 18, and we find out that the multiple rule, they will exterminate everything about the person. The memory bank and the two multiples have to go. And that stems from a serial killer, which I was like, that's kind of cool. Like, I like that concept.
Brothers Bloom.
Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you, everything I don't like about this movie, I also didn't like about the book. And the movie, the movie is basically, to me, just an improvement on the
I was going to ask, like,
entirely.
Do they stick to the book fairly closely?
I think so, pretty much. The reason they don't do multiples is just because the guy that invented it multiplied himself
and then uses an alibi for murder.
No. Well, in the book, he makes like a whole planet of himself, and he's going to try and take over the universe with all his multiples. The thing is, the book is like not weird. It doesn't have the like
The quirky sensibility, yeah.
Okay.
It's very like boilerplate sci-fi.
Like
Mickey is just kind of a normal guy. He doesn't have the quirky weirdness of Robert Pattinson. It's
interesting.
And I feel like so the book takes place at least over a couple more days. So I would say like 3/4 of the book is just like them hanging out trying not to get caught. And
does the Mickey 18 character have like that psychotic personality?
No, and it doesn't make any sense because in the movie, right, he says like this one came out this way and this one, so you get the idea that like they're a little different.
Yeah.
In the book, they are not. They're the same, and they talk about it a lot. Like we're the same guy, but they don't act like they have disagreements in a way that's like you're sort of faltering on your premise.
Sure.
Like if they're the same guy, they should be in agreement all the time.
And I would watch. I think that's an interesting. It could be right, an interesting way to do it. But the book has I hate calling things Marvel humor. I think that's like a reductive whatever. But there is like there's a part, two things back to back toward the end where someone says like, "Is the bomb armed?" And Mickey's like, "If you mean that it has the power to destroy this star system 3 times over, then yes." Like, just say yes, man. Shut up. So it's that kind of humor.
That's in the book?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have to
That's
remind
like
you how high the stakes are.
That's right.
That's sort of the vibe of the book. There's it's kind of like I don't know what are we doing? When are we going to get to the thing we're doing?
Sure.
The movie is basically one day, right? I think maybe there's a day between them getting captured.
I don't even think there is. I think
No, it takes place over an extended period of time because, I mean, he starts on Earth. And
Yeah, but
goes
once-
and-
I'm talking.
But once we
though-
get to Mickey 17 and 18, it does feel like it's a 24-hour.
Yeah, like once you get, because really there's only so long he could pull that off.
Right.
Yeah.
Because if nothing else, I was like, well, if they're watching food that closely, if there's an extra person on the ship eating,
Right.
they're gonna figure
that
this
is
out.
Right.
because that's a bigger part. There in the book, they're saying like, well, because they keep getting their rations cut too, for different reasons. So they're talking about how to divide them up today, and like then
I see,
tomorrow
I see.
you'll get more,
Yeah.
and that which that part's fine. I don't have a problem with that. But it taking place over a longer time, and we're still not getting to what are we doing? What's happening? Like when are we gonna like?
We're just so in the book they live life on that ship a lot longer.
It's at least, like I said, it's at least like a couple days, which makes it feel like, yeah, what is our goal? Because if your goal is just to not get caught,
right.
that's not a very like interesting.
Sure.
It just you keep not getting caught.
That's right.
It was and then so when I saw who the director was, this movie, I didn't know there was a book. Got very excited about the movie.
Yeah.
And read the book and got not excited about the movie.
Sucks.
And then I watched the movie and I was like, oh, okay.
Oh, I did it
All right,
better.
okay.
Okay, cool. So yeah, they show up and they both realize what's now that they're both here, what is going to happen. Like, this is bad. They go down, Mickey 18 knocks out Mickey 17, and he's going to throw him in the compactor or the furnace. And we see that Stephen Yeun, who has just failed upwards.
Yes.
Where he's a con artist and he just keeps conning his way into things. And we find out that he is selling this drug that's like oxy, but it's not.
It's like the
Oxycontin.
fuel that runs their guns, right?
Like the flamethrowers, I thought.
Which is interesting. I like that it's a characterization when he takes the flamethrower.
Yeah.
That he doesn't really care about his friend that much.
Yeah.
But then for that to be a more of a plot point.
Right.
I like that kind of.
But I also
where
like
it
that-
works. Where when he picks up the flamethrower, you're not going, that'll come back later.
yeah.
Right. But we do find out that all of the loans that Stephen Yeun's character had taken out, he put them under Mickey's name.
Yes.
We find that out. And so like Mickey's on the hook for all of this money.
Which in the book his name's Berto, not whatever Stephen Yeun's name was in the movie.
I don't know.
Cool, huh?
Yeah.
In the book, Marshall is just a kind of a general, and he's good at his thing. He's a very gruff, like, general. And then Steven Yeun's character he's really good at some sport or something, and Mickey bets on him because he thinks he's going to lose.
Oh.
So it's just, like, not as interesting. Like, I like the idea that Mickey got screwed over.
Yeah.
And that it was all Mickey's doing.
But I do. He says that Steven Yeun's character kind of talked him into believing that macaroons were going to be bigger than hamburgers. Right. And they have, like, these and of course it goes under.
Which is, like, a fun, weird idea.
It is a funny,
right?
weird
and, like,
idea.
Mickey's dumb. Like, I like that a lot.
So they have to hide because they hear Steven Yeun coming into the trash room, and we find out that Steven Yeun is selling these drugs. And Mickey 18, who has all of Mickey 17's memories, and he's a little wackadoo, decides he's going to kill the Steven Yeun. And they get into it, and, you know, I like that Steven Yeun's character has no idea what is going on. So gets knocked into the trash compactor, and we see Mickey 18 kind of, like, trying to push him off the ledge. Mickey 17 says, no, they get into a fight. And then Mickey 17 also comes back, and Steven Yeun's like, get me out of here. Like, why did you push me in here? He's like, don't worry about it. And then we've got all these different people, it's just like a cacophony of people and mistakes. And they end up the head, the police chief, I guess, shows up.
Sure.
Yeah. And they're just like, hey, what are you doing down there? And he was like, oh, I slipped and fell, and Mickey was trying to pull me up. Because Mickey kind of says, he's like, look, I've got you dead to rights. If you want to keep doing drugs, you'll know, because Steven Yeun finds out they're multiples. He's like, you'll keep your trap shut. You can keep dealing your drugs, and we'll keep doing what we're doing. And
mutually assured self-destruct.
That's exactly right. So now that, I guess, they kind of get into an argument. Mickey 18 ends up going back to his girlfriend's room, and she doesn't know any different. So
bangs him.
Mickey 17 is like, he's having sex with my wife, like, what, or my girlfriend, or he's losing their mind. And we do get this other character, and I don't know how to.
I have the same issue in the book. It's the same kind of. She does pop up later. She wants to take Mickey's job as the expendable.
Oh.
So there's kind of a turn in a way. But it is the same thing of, like, I don't really understand what she's there for.
Oh, you're right. So I'm sorry. First we get the.
If that's the person you're talking about. It is. Kai, I think.
Yeah, Kai. We get as Mickey is trying to get back to his room, he gets cut off by the propaganda guy and says that he gets to go meet with the congressman for dinner. And he's just like, whatever. So they go, and he's so gross. Mickey is so gross because he hasn't had real food in however long. And they've made him this food. And I was like, boy, that is gross. Yeah. It is real gross.
It looks like raw liver.
That's what it did. Yeah. It looked like raw meat.
Yeah.
And she was like, is it good? He's like, yeah, it's great.
He says what he ordered.
Like
too.
A tenderloin.
Right before that, he says,
something.
I ordered the tenderloin.
Yeah.
And then that's what he gets.
And it was gnarly. And as he's eating it, Kai comes in. So earlier on the ice planet, Kai's girlfriend?
I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Gets crushed. They encounter these aliens again that they call creepers, and she kind of like loses her cool. She shoots up into the air and cracks the ice and dies. The congressman freaks out because Mickey's supposed to die, and he says some of the awfulest in his direction. And then he ends up coming back to the congressman's room. He's like, I said some things that I probably shouldn't have. Kai comes in.
This is how you know he's not Trump.
Because he apologizes.
He's apologizing and acknowledging.
Well, he's apologizing off camera, so nobody sees him do it.
It is also all partially a trick, right? Just to get him to eat
That's exactly what it is. They wanted to eat the meat and see what would happen.
Fake meat.
Yeah. So Kai comes in, and this is very creepy. where he's just like, you are the perfect woman, and yada yada. And she's like, oh, so I'm just a uterus to you? And he was like, what? No, that's not what I'm saying. And Mickey starts throwing up. Like he's in excruciating pain. In come all the doctors very quickly, and they're just
all
like,
waiting in the wings.
Yeah, right. He's like, I'm so sorry, sir. Like, we didn't expect this to happen. And he's like, we've got Purple Joe. We can give him some of that. And he was like, it's this, state of the art painkiller.
New painkiller they're working on. Yeah.
So they inject it with him. Does nothing. He's like, I didn't expect that. I'm really sorry. And then Mickey finally ends up saying, he's like, I'm fine. Like, can we just go? And this was the weird part it's okay. Yeah. Maybe storytelling wise. Kai brings him, he's like, I gotta go back to my room. She's like, no, come back to my room. And there was a moment earlier in the movie where Mickey is sitting next to Kai, and they do have like a moment where you're just kind of like, is she into him? Like, maybe.
I mean, I thought she could be into him. I thought that little mousy scientist lady could be into him.
Sure.
Like, so, yeah.
Okay.
He's
very
Robert
handsome.
I mean, he is Robert Pattinson, and even with the weird voice, he's still dreamy.
Yeah, there was a moment where he was walking around shirtless, and I was like, well, come on.
Yeah, right.
Like, you're supposed to be this wormy guy, but you're ripped to shreds.
What if he had a kind of weird haircut? No, not really. Doesn't really.
Yeah,
change
it doesn't matter.
If I had abs like that, they'd be in every
You
movie.
better believe it.
I'd be doing this show shirtless right now.
Yeah.
I have abs. They're just under stuff.
I have an ab.
Ab.
Yeah.
So they go back to Kai's room, and they have this kind of moment where everybody keeps asking him, what's it like to die? And I'm supposed to interpret that as like, it's a very insensitive question, but I wouldn't think, but I guess I'm not dying. So
Yeah.
so she's like, I'm not trying to be a dick, like, but I'm just curious as to what it's like. And he's like, are you asking me because of so and so? And she said yes. So he gives her this kind of explanation about it, like, it sucks, like, I don't like doing it.
Was your interpretation that he remembers everything, that the upload is like, because he says he has to upload every week, but in the book, it is a big part of the premise that he will lose time from the last time he uploaded to when he dies.
He's got to.
He doesn't remember that.
Right.
But the movie kind of seems to imply that he does remember everything, but I don't think it's like a wireless.
But I mean,
upload.
if you're uploading once a week, and then they re-upload it every time you die,
dude,
yeah, they have to re-upload the memories to the new body.
But it wouldn't have him dying, right?
No,
because he would have in the book he like watches videos of him dying.
No, he technically would his memory would just reset to when he uploaded his memory. So there could, if he doesn't die for 3 days and then he dies, he's going to lose those 3 days.
That is my interpretation.
Yeah.
As well.
So when everybody's asking him what's it like to die, it's like, well, he doesn't know.
Yeah, technically you shouldn't know because, unless they're constantly backing him up.
Which they don't say. They do say they back him up once a week.
Yeah.
But the movie also doesn't. I mean, in the book, it is like sort of a plot point. The Stephen Yeun character lies to him about how he died, and then he starts to understand that maybe they don't always tell him the truth.
Yeah. In the movie or in the book?
In the book.
Okay.
Which there's 10 less Mickeys in the book too.
Is that right?
Mickey 7.
Yeah.
The book is called Mickey 7.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because that character tells him that, I saw you get eaten by creepers. But he knows that's not true.
Okay.
Because he didn't. It's the wrong guy. So that whole thing is like a thing. But in the movie, they don't really talk about it. But they do ask him what it feels like to die, and he kind of answers. He says it sucks. And I guess maybe, all of a sudden 3 days are gone would suck too.
Right.
But it seems like a different question.
It's a different kind of suck.
Yes.
It is. Yeah. It's a time suck.
Well, like all kinds of sucks. You know what I mean?
So she makes a move. She says,
potentially from myself.
That would be wild.
Clone of me.
Yeah, no, that's true.
Give it a shot.
I mean, he would know what to do. He knows what you like.
It's just masturbation, technically.
Technically.
Not even gay.
Yeah.
I'm really good at it.
Years of practice.
I mean,
decades of practice. So she kind of makes the move on him, and he was like, she's like, "Are you and so open?" And he was like, "No, I gotta go." And I thought, why do you gotta go? Like, I guess he has that whole relationship with her.
I mean, he really likes Nasha.
Yeah, but also I think Mickey 18. It's interesting because Mickey 18 has the memories of the relationship, but doesn't have
necessarily the same level of feelings about
correct. But he would, though.
You would
should.
I mean, because she's been with several different incarnations, and they've all seemed to be into her,
right?
Apparently.
I mean, he's into her in this, but it's very interesting to like, how would that work? Like, how would that dynamic work at all?
But I'll say I like in the movie, he goes there. It's a weird vibe. He leaves. He's like, I gotta go.
Yeah.
The book, he does stay in her room. They don't do anything, I don't think, but he stays there. He sleeps there overnight, and it's way more like he's into her and considering.
I mean, it feels like they're both into each other.
Yeah,
but
I think the movie gives him much more of a I'm a faithful. No matter how much I like this, I'm a faithful guy. And it was less. Not confusing, maybe not the word, but it was less like, because I still kind of feel like, why is she here? What is she doing?
What's her role here?
Exactly? And why does she never come back? In the book, she does come back, but it still didn't feel
by the time we get
purposeful enough.
The scene with Kai and Nasha, we never see Kai again. Like, that was kind of the last time we see her.
She gives a middle finger at the end.
That's right, she does. Yeah. So yeah, Mickey runs back and he walks in on her and Nasha and Mickey 18, and then they start, like, we realize that Nasha and Mickey 18 have started using the oxy.
Yeah.
And Mickey 17's like, what are you doing? Like, you know how bad this is? And they're like, chill out, man. Like, just have some fun. And a threesome starts, and then Kai walks in and she was like, what the fuck are you doing? And just kind of like walks out. And Nasha tries to set it all right. And Kai's like, fine, I won't say anything, but I get 17. And she was like, what? No.
This is the thing where, so in the book, they do have a threesome? I mean, I guess it's a threesome.
Yeah. 2.5
three bodies.
And it was the greatest 2 hours. But this is the same. I have the same issue with both things. Like, I feel like we have not seen Nasha enough for this to not characterize her as not a great person in the movie. Like, at this point in the movie, I'm kind of like, oh, okay, maybe this is where we're going to be like, Nasha's not that cool, and he's going to fall in love with Kai now because Kai's better and nicer and whatever. And same sort of vibe in the book, but then once we're past this, that never really...
It never comes back until you see her at the end.
Thing. And, I mean, hey, do drugs if you want. But in a movie, someone doing a harmful illegal drug is usually an indicator.
Right.
That
it's shorthand for they're not good people.
Yeah. But I guess we're led to believe that she's been using oxy the entire time.
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, unless like Mickey 18 is the bad influence, was like, give it a shot, baby, and she does.
Because I feel like if she had been using the whole time,
he would know.
Then he would know.
Yeah, I mean, the way they show the effects of this drug, it looks like it's not like a snort of cocaine. Like, it looks like it messes you up pretty good.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And there are different ways to take it. Because like sometimes they dilute it, and sometimes yeah. So like
that's true.
We really don't know
what this is
and how much of it they were taking.
Right.
And this, so I guess kind of what I'm saying too is like all of my problems I are from the book, like they're in the book too, and then it's really interesting to see a movie. In my opinion, kind of be a total improvement.
That is rare, but it can happen. I talked about The Shining earlier. I think the book is great, and I think Kubrick made it better.
Made it different.
Those are very I was just gonna say,
but I mean, like
they're trying to do very different.
They are,
and I think this is not. I mean, I do feel like these are doing the same thing.
Yeah,
and one person is doing it better, like telling it better, making it. They get more philosophical in the book. They'll have like long parts talking about like, who am I, and am I the guy? And then at the end of them, they kind of go. They'll be like, but we don't have time to think about that right now. Okay, all right.
That's a writer with ADD that's remembered like 5 different plot points that he's got to get to.
It's just like they just don't want to like.
That's how I stop myself from having an existential crisis. Whenever I'm,
just feeling it.
what are we here for? What are we doing? I'm just like, what am I going to do about it?
I don't know. I'm
I'm
gonna live life.
do, and then like, what is
That's all I can do.
Smarter people than me have tried to figure it out. Why should I waste my time?
I should say too. It seems like people disagree with me. People do like the book. And don't feel that the movie's better. So I don't know.
I think sometimes you get 2 creative people, and then one of them is better at the thing than the other one.
Yeah,
and that's
there's a sequel to the book as well.
Oh, is there really?
Yeah.
Mickey 24.
It's just the continuing adventures of Mickey 7.
Okay.
I guess it's hard to put a number on it. What is it, like Mickey 7.2?
7.2.
You can't call it Mickey 8 because that's an actual different person.
Oh, that's true.
So, and it's so like what?
Mickey 7.5.
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay, so they get. How do they get caught? Oh, they go back. Mickey goes back to the room. The congressman is on TV. They're going to cut this rock in half. Always a great idea to cut a space rock in half just to see what would happen. So when he does that, Mickey 17 is telling Mickey 18 about what happened, and he's like, "Did you punch him?" And he's like, "No, we just left."
I thanked him for
dinner. Yeah, right. And Mickey 18 loses his mind. He's like, "That's it. I'm gonna kill him." So he takes his girlfriend's gun, wraps it up like Vito Corleone in The Godfather, and is gonna go shoot the congressman.
Oh yeah, Godfather ripped that off.
That's true. What a hack that guy is. So they're given, he's on TV, and it is funny. I take it as this is the only TV they have. It's just like him doing these stupid ass rallies.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. They weren't very populated either, from what I could tell.
It's a small.
You're right. So
I do like that it wasn't like an elaborate. Like it still looked.
No, it looked like it was like a
shitty.
like a compactor room.
Yeah.
Like just a room in Alien. So when he's going to cut, Mickey walks in. Everything is kind of. Sorry, he cuts the rock, and a baby creeper pops out. Now we know that these creepers are harmless. We know that.
Well,
Mickey 17 knows that.
Harmless.
Yeah, they can be harmless.
Because they saved Mickey.
They did.
Early.
We find out that Mickey's like they didn't eat you, and he was like, no, they didn't eat me. So in the chaos, Mickey 18 is going to go shoot him. A guy stops him, and then Kai does have this weird turn where her and the other, I guess, police officers, just open fire on a baby.
Yeah.
And like, this is the point where all of a sudden, maybe Kai's not the best, but she is. But they don't know anything about the alien,
Right,
so they explode this baby alien. They capture another one. The congressman sees that there's multiples, and he's like, arrest them all. So they get to this jail cell. Stephen Yeun pops in, and probably one of my favorite entrances in movies, where he's like crawling in between a crawl space and like a container, and the guard is like asleep, and he has to like slip his way down. He's like, "Where's the ladder?" He's like, "I forgot the ladder." And we find out that the mob boss from Earth has sent a letter. He's like, a handwritten letter. Can you believe this? Like he got somebody on this ship that basically says
a 4-year
journey.
You're right, because this Stephen Yeun's dialogue, and I apologize if I'm pronouncing his last name wrong. All this dialogue here is like so funny and so.
I think he's very funny. I think he's extremely talented as an actor.
Yeah.
If you've never seen, May,
I wish he was in more things.
Yeah. Did you see Mayhem?
Yeah.
He's great in that. So Samara Weaving.
But we talk about all these movies, and I feel like I'm always just like, ugh, it's not funny. They talk so stupid, it's so dumb. And it was I do think this movie's funny. In this particular scene, like I don't know if you'd call it natural dialogue, but it's all like, it doesn't feel like they're just like saying, and I'm joking, right?
Yeah,
and you
right,
get it,
right.
It's.
I think he's got a natural comedic ability to take whatever he's saying and kind of like mold it into something that is funny. Because I think he is. I remember when The Walking Dead was on, and that was a book that I read till the end for no goddamn reason.
What economists refer to as the sunk cost
Yeah.
fallacy.
It got me.
Yeah.
It got me good. When a certain episode was coming, and I was like, I'm going to tell you, I know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
And then they fake you out. And I was like, oh, maybe they're not going to. Oh.
This is my thing. This is what I'm talking about with Pet Sematary, and you guys disagree with me. The remake, that is a twist for people that read the comics that if you were just writing an episode, you wouldn't have done that. It doesn't make narrative sense, I don't feel like. You know what I mean? Like
That's true. If you never read the comic and you didn't know what was coming,
you'd just be like, this is
it'd be
weird.
like, oh,
why
man,
why did they do
yeah,
that?
yeah. The Pet Sematary one, though,
I know.
is better.
Sure.
It is.
Also, that's when I stopped watching The Walking Dead. Not like Steven's gone, I'm gone, but like 4 episodes after that, I'm like,
I think I gave up too because
care.
then they diverted from the book.
I gave up when they were in that prison, and they just
That was
left
season
it.
2.
They just never left it.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I am so tired of this
Oh
prison.
man, when the governor shows up.
And I was long gone by then.
Season 12, it starts getting really good.
It is wild to think that show is still going on in some form.
Right, yeah.
So you've got like the Daryl Dixon show.
Mm-hmm.
You've got the Rick and Michonne show.
Yeah.
And then you've got...
Carol's got a show?
I think Carol's on the Daryl Dixon show.
This week? Carol's on,
yeah, on the Daryl
Carol's
Dixon
hosting the
show.
Daryl Dixon show this week.
And
this
then,
week on the Daryl Dixon
that's right.
show.
And then I think they've got like the governor... No, Negan and... What's her name? Have their own show.
Maggie?
Yes. Which is wild.
Let's get back to this.
Oh, yeah, sorry. So they throw them in a jail cell. Stephen Yeun's character pops up and he's like, hey, man, I'm sorry. I have to, like, I got this letter. The only way I'm going to survive is I have to chop you up. And you're thinking, well, he's going to chop up 18. It would make sense. Like, he doesn't have any connection to 18.
Yeah.
He has a connection to 17. And he's like, no, do that one. And he's like, but that's your friend. He's like, yeah, but he's whiny and look at him. It's softer.
It's easy.
And it was just like, God damn it. So they end up like tricking the Mickey 18's like, look, I'll do it for you. Just give me a hit of the oxy and then we'll call it a day. So he lures the cop over. He takes his taser. They break out. While all of this is going on, because the officers have shot this baby, these aliens have now circled or are circling this ship, the transport ship. And they have what we thought originally is that they were testing out all these different gases on Mickey 17. We thought, well, okay, they're just going to they're trying to develop serums and vaccines. No, they were developing a gas that would basically wipe out this entire population. And the only way, they have to, I guess they set up Mickey 17 and Mickey 18 to go out there and collect 100 tails because
to make sauce.
We haven't even talked about Toni Collette.
Yeah.
Who
Her
is
sauce fixation.
which is just so gross. So she takes the tail of this one baby alien, this one creeper.
It's veal.
What?
It's veal.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's
it's got
ba- it's
yeah,
not-
it's veal.
It's veal.
Yeah, it's 100% veal. She cuts the tail off, then chops the tail up, and then throws it in like a magic bullet.
Yeah.
And she's like, taste it. And
It
everybody's
doesn't do anything to it. There's no spices or anything.
it's just the goop
Yeah.
of the tail. And she says, look, one of you can live. We've got you strapped with a bomb. The first one to bring us back 100 tails gets to live. So Mickey inadvertently found a way to communicate with these things. And because of that, these little mousy scientist has engineered a very makeshift translator. So Mickey's like, I don't want to kill anybody. So he runs out there. He ends up talking to like the head thing. He's like, look, this is what's coming. What can we do to stop it? And the big thing was like, nothing. Like, we're going to kill all of you because you killed my baby. He's like, okay, but what if I told you the other baby was still alive? And he's like, all right, like maybe I won't kill you, but we're going to kill one of yours. And they were just like, fair. So while all of this is going on, the Mark Ruffalo and Toni Collette are livid because here's this lowly expendable out there talking to the boss of the aliens when the propaganda guy is like, no, it should be you. And I was like, this guy looks like Stephen Miller.
Yeah.
Like, you're going to tell me that it's not modeled after Stephen Miller? Like, the guy who's pushing the boss, the congressman, in all of these insane directions. So he ends up putting on like a military suit. He slicks his hair back, and he's going to go. So he goes out there, and they have all these missiles set up and ready to shoot everybody. And the little aliens start circling up, and they start protecting like different,
they make like decoys.
Decoys of the mom, and they can't figure out or whatever. And earlier in the movie, when Mickey and Nasha were getting started, they were making up their own sex positions, which I thought was a very funny little gag where they're just drawing them and creating them. And Mickey realizes the only way to communicate is he gives her this idea. So he's looking at the camera. He's like, C3. And Toni Collette's like, C3? And then Nasha's like, I know what C3 is. And she ends up getting the baby. On top of all of that, you've got the guy who's like the head of the police force knows that Mark Ruffalo is insane. So he's got his lackey with Google lenses, I guess, or whatever, recording everything in this place. So he ends up pulling off a coup. And circumvents takes the first lady into custody. They get the baby outside and give it back to the mom. And you think that this baby alien is dead because even Mickey 17 is like,
yeah,
is he all right? But it's not moving. So like they put the alien
licks it,
I guess, and it's okay.
Missing a tail though.
It is missing a tail.
Maybe it can regenerate. We don't know.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like a worm.
All right.
Yeah. We see that Mickey 18 is making good on his promise to kill the congressman. But there is a moment where you're not sure because the president, the congressman has like a 17 and an 18 on his wristband, and like he could press one or the other. And
it's a hyper specific wristband to have at the ready.
I thought the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like ready to go.
Yeah.
Which that is funny.
That he had
I
the
just think
wristband.
that's a funny.
It's a wacky little
had
thing.
Someone go make it.
Yeah.
Yes.
I like that.
I like that you're not like, this Mickey 18 is kind of crazy. So you don't really know what he's going to do. But there is an explosion on the ship, and we see that the congressman has been blown up. Mickey 18 is dead.
Sacrifices himself.
Yeah.
Which
and
he essentially dies off screen in the book.
Oh, really?
He goes, so it's kind of the same setup. They have the bombs, which, by the way, again, Marshall's not really a bad guy in the book. He does want to kill the aliens, but he thinks they're bad. He thinks they're killing them.
Right.
So you kind of have no, and I mean, he's an antagonist, but he's not you don't have a bad guy. You don't have anyone to really root
They definitely
against.
Make him the bad guy in
and then,
this.
so, right, the thing is more like Mickey arguing that any genocide is bad, and then the Marshall being like, but you know what I mean? Like they're kind of making points. But the book also isn't really deep enough to have like super I mean, because I feel like the way I'm describing it, like, well, if that's the book, if it's about this philosophical debate, but it's too kind of surface level for that to be that interesting. But Mickey 18 takes a bomb down into the tunnels, and then 17 sees him like get swarmed on his ocular.
Oh, okay.
They can like see, I guess, and that's it. He's dead. He's like, and that's when I realized 18 was dead.
They make it pretty definitive in this one.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to come back in the book. I'm like, oh, he's going to come back. He's
right.
Be something he doesn't. That's it. He just died.
That's the game over. And I do, the aliens are just like, oh, I guess no. The the natural inhabitants of this planet.
Mm-hmm.
And as it didn't click what that was until this scene where I was like, oh, like it's Native Americans.
Right. Yeah.
That's what this is. That's exactly the story we're telling right now.
Or any, right? I mean,
I guess any
colonizing
person
genocide.
that was on land and then they were colonized. You're absolutely right. So the scene that I thought was fantastic is we get to the end and like life is moving forward. All of these people are on this planet. They're taking out like the human cloning. They're getting rid of all of that. Mickey has his new job is like talking to the inhabitants of this planet. And he was like, so you said that you were going to make this sound and it was going to make our brains explode and our eyes pop out. He's like, but why not our eardrums? And the big one is just kind of like, And the little, he's like, can you do it right now? And like a little one rolls out and starts making this sound and then it burps. And he was like, huh. So I guess bluffing isn't just like a human thing. And I was like, I dig that.
That's
like
good.
the fact that they bluffed him the whole time.
But also, like, how would they even know that they could do that to people?
Right.
They hadn't seen people yet either.
Right.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, and the movie kind of they blow up it is a good twist ending. I thought, well, what we thought was going to be a twist is we hear that Toni Collette had committed suicide after everything happened, but then we see while Mickey 17 is throwing some trash away, he hears movement upstairs, walks upstairs, and there is another machine. We see like goop in the machine, and we kind of we see Toni Collette, and she is just awful to Mickey. And there's a moment where I was like, maybe, like, it's possible that it was all a ruse.
Yeah.
And then we see a cloned...
A rue.
Oh, sorry, a rue. Yeah, well done.
Come on.
We see a cloned Mark Ruffalo start to come out. And there was a very good reaction in the crowd. Because my theater was full, sold out. And there was like an audible, oh, no. And then...
Oh, I love the way
it printed
that they
out.
print them
like,
out.
Like
that jerky...
that jerky thing.
Yeah.
Like it would... in and out,
like paper.
Yes, and like I said, like that tone is not in the book.
At
all. Like, boy, that was.
I did like that. And then Mickey was daydreaming. He sometimes says like my brain kind of goes somewhere, blows up the thing, and then life kind of is moving forward on this planet. Nasha is like the leader of the council, I guess, or whatever.
Yeah, like she's elected the committee.
Yeah, whatever.
She holds up signs.
Yeah.
Very effective.
Yeah. This is not normal.
Yeah.
They wear.
We make fun of both sides here.
Yeah, right. What a ridiculous.
Yeah.
Maybe do something about it instead of holding up signs. And that's how this movie ends. Is like life is moving forward on this planet. I appreciate how weird it was. I had a good time with it, but I agree. It didn't do what I thought it was going to do.
Yeah. It was underwhelmed.
It was It was good. I liked it. Performances were good. Missed the mark a little bit.
Yeah.
So. It's kind of unfortunate, right? That
Yeah.
like the vibe and which like Snowpiercer, right? Like very memorable. I feel like this movie's not going to be very memorable for me. Like, right?
I would watch Snowpiercer again. I don't think I'd ever watch it.
I don't know that I would ever watch this, but Snowpiercer 100%.
Snowpiercer's great.
It's fantastic. So good.
So anyway, I guess that's it for this one. Let's go around the table and everyone can say where to find them.
On here last week, I was in here begging everybody. Not this time. Good luck.
Not today.
Find me if you can.
This is Joe. You can follow me on the Twitter at Joey Butts, on Blue Sky, on Threads, all that good stuff on Letterboxd at the same.
And this is Tom. You can find me on Blue Sky and Threads, Tom O'Keefe Jr., facebook.com/Tom O'Keefe. Find the show online at facebook.com/Real Spoilers. While you're there, like the page, join the group, and of course, if you want to support the show, we would love to let you support the show.
Yes.
You can do that over at Patreon. So that's it for this one. Thanks for tuning in. And until next time, Lance, Lenny, and Rico open a pizzeria.
Get ready for a spoiler. Won't say it twice, 'cause we already warned you.